Very pleasant. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Defo Show, a Thursday edition. I've got Mike Lubie Lubitz riding shotgun with me, as always. Always a pleasure to have Lubie on the program or anything that we do. Just life wouldn't be the same
There you go.
without mixing in a little Mike Lubie Lubitz. We should have Dave Gurggles Gergely unconfirmed as of now, but I believe that's going to be happening. Gurggles usually checks in early, hopes to get on early so we can get out of here early because he's got another job. So
Yes.
we'll be doing that. If that happens, you can dial us up at 954 417 0070. 954 417 0070 to play the trivia challenge. Now, the regulars know the number, and they've been participating on a regular basis, as you might imagine regulars would do. Since the inception of the new version of the Trivia Challenge, a Thursday edition, a hybrid edition, a shortened edition, no Polyman involved, but nonetheless, still a lot of fun just to break away from people that are hammering serious sports topics all the time. My goodness. Now, it has been a little lighthearted because one good thing about the Winter Olympics and the fact that nobody really knows in any kind of hardcore fashion what the hell is going on out there. You can just kind of watch this stuff and say, yeah, that's kind of cool. I don't know that you need to be critical. You're not hearing a lot of stuff. Well, that coach sucks. They got to get rid of him. We don't know what the hell's going on out there. It's great. You had Michaela Schifrin. I'm glad I held back from this because I had a note yesterday on my little sheet here, which doesn't really amount to much, but kind of helps me every now and then when I completely spaz out and say, what the hell is there to talk about? But you try to have some kind of semblance of a guideline as to what to do on these programs, no matter what adaptation of this type of show you have, including the streaming version. Try to figure out, okay, what's important and what's not. And I nearly made a comment because Michaela Schifrin had been shut out for medals, and I think she had been in a couple of the competitions prior to winning a gold medal yesterday. And I was going to say that there's a changing of the guard. That with Lindsey Vonn in the hospital and in all likelihood having her competitive skiing career come to an end, and Michaela Schifrin bombing out and not winning any medals, not even getting to the podium, new blood infused into the sport. And we'll have to familiarize ourselves with that and hope some other American woman emerges to be a top-notch, legendary type of skier. And yet, just as I was about to say that, I pulled back, not because I thought Michaela Schifrin was going to win a gold medal, because I thought, I don't want to be disparaging to these women and say that they're shot fighters. We all know and saw what happened with Lindsey Vonn, still insisting that the torn ACL had nothing to do with what happened to her. And that's possibly the case. Does it really matter? I mean, a woman ended up badly hurt. Still scares the living daylights out of me to think about being in that canvas coffin that was carting her off the track. Yep. It was, wow, I don't know. I mean, I'm spooked whenever they bring the tent out onto a racetrack for a horse that has been injured, and they're going to euthanize the horse right there on the track. And it just, I mean, my heart literally just slips right to the bottom level that it could possibly be at. You feel so badly for it. And that's kind of how I felt. That was an eerie scene. The scene of her dangling from that cable from the helicopter with a guy guiding her and literally wrapped up in a canvas coffin. And so I held back from saying anything. I'm glad I did because I would have looked like a complete asshole. Because those are what I know about the Winter Olympics. Hey, here's your expert Winter Olympic commentator. It's not like I'm Dick Button here.
No, we've never said we are. You've actually been pretty good about keeping it in the conversation. I have not watched any of it. I'm living through you, to be brutally honest. Like you really tried to make it matter. I don't know.
I enjoy some of this stuff. It's starting to blend together, though, Lubie.
Yes. Well, the skiing. How much skiing did they do between curling and skiing? Is that the entire Winter Olympics?
The curling thing, I think, is now universal. That they've been shoving. Yes. They've been doing this for the last couple of Winter Olympic Games, just shoveling too much curling at us.
Yes.
Now it fills time, and so the TV networks, the executives making a decision that have to cover 2 hours of C-SPAN. All right, so if you have 2 curling matches, and that takes up the whole show, that makes it kind of easy, doesn't it? You don't have to worry about a lot of drone cameras. Do they have drone cameras working the curling as they go to, what do they call it, the sheet?
Oh yes.
Sheet.
Yes, the sheet, yes.
It's very commonly used in other matters of politics right now.
Things that may have crossed my world last night.
Well, that's right. We got to get into your experience also before we get into this heavy-duty stuff. Gurggles is with us, so we're going to get to him in just a couple of minutes here so we can accommodate his needs as a full-time working human being. So
Yes.
we'll bring him on in just a sec. But Louis, so you had switched your trivia venue a long time at Landlubbers. How many years at Landlubbers? Had to be
2 or
was that
3 years.
15? That's it. I
No,
thought
no, we were at Vega for over a decade. We were at Landlubbers out of COVID, like around 2000.
Oh, okay. Because I go way back with Landlubbers. That was a
Yes.
discovery. The boys from Air Around the Clock turned me on to Landlubbers and said, "Hey, this would be a great venue." I was looking for a place to host a weekly high school football show,
Yes.
and they said, "Hey, this Alex Sufrene, he's got the right atmosphere for it. It's perfect, and he would really get into this." So we started a relationship there, and we did a show there on 1470, I guess it was, for several years.
Bunch of years, yeah.
Or one day, just before he left, Ken Charles, who was the program director, very briefly, he brought me into 940, which was a good thing.
Yeah.
And then one day I don't know what possessed him to do this. I mean, you
How do
talk
you
about
know?
program director scanning the dial.
Yeah. Like,
He
who
says, he comes in with a face on and he says, "Hey, what is this?" I'm like, "What is what?" I had no idea what he was talking about because I didn't really consider it that big of a deal. It was just like a side business that I had going.
yeah, nothing to do with
I
the
thought it'd be cool. I used to do this in California with a friend of mine. I thought, well, geez, high school football's so big in South Florida. Why doesn't anybody on the radio
Yep.
have a game of the week? Now, mainstream stations are not necessarily going to dedicate time to it, but if you're talking about AM radio at night, even back 15 years ago, there wasn't a whole lot happening there.
No,
Know because we had to work nights for a little while.
and video streaming wasn't a thing. So like the radio would still be the place where you could find something like that.
I thought it was a cool thing, and I got involved with a partner who had some influence there and was able to bring in some sponsorship. And we had just enough. It wasn't like we were making any kind of a fortune on it, but we thought, all right, let's see where this goes. Now, the problem was the radio station, 1470, was also, as we say, it was just to the right of Radio Haiti
It
on
was
the
literally.
dial, and literally just to the right of the studio, which
Yes.
we rarely were in, but and that's where I met the professor also. Just to the right of the studio was Radio Haiti.
Yes, it was. Yes.
It was like Radio Free Europe and Radio Haiti.
Yeah, it was.
They were all in the same building there, and
100%.
we were trying to do the high school Radio Marti. I think might have been operating out of there.
Yes.
Anything that was trying to influence people to say you can be free, just ignore the horrible conditions you're living under right now.
Yeah.
So I ended up going there to Landlubbers and doing a show. I really enjoyed it for many years. And then I thought you came in right after that, but that has to go back.
We were
More
involved
than 15 years ago, I believe. No?
we were involved with them for years. And then out of COVID, Sufrene came to me and the professor and asked if, because he knew we were doing trivia, if we would, because they had trivia and they had cut ties with their trivia people. So we asked if we wanted to do trivia. And it was more of a favor, to be really honest. I didn't really want to do 2 days anymore, but Sufrene asked. So we're like, okay, cool. So we started then like the early 2021. And we were there till late 2025. So 3-4 years. It was a nice run. I mean, it was fine. And then this place, Love and Oven, I guess, they do every night. They do something, do this music bingo. They do karaoke. They do have live music. So every night they like having something. They're in Sunrise, like literally around the corner from the house I grew up in. And where my parents still live. And a few of our former trivia players were like, oh, you guys should try Love and Oven. And then the guy, I guess they told him about us. So the guy reached out to me, been there a couple months. It's been, I don't know, progressing is the word, but it's been decently steady at least. It's a smaller place. Like Landlubbers is a lot bigger than Love and Oven. So, and it's usually not a decent crowd, not too huge. We get there last night and there's this big ass rally in the back. And I don't know if you played high school sports, like I know at the end of the season, they'll do like, the awards, right? Like they'll have the coach stand up and a bunch of kids and parents, and they'll say best defender, most charismatic, tried the hardest. So because you would hear a guy speak and then a crowd cheer, and I saw a bunch of teenagers. So I go to I think it's like some award thing. I don't know. And I don't want to ask. I'm like you. Like I like leaving people alone. Like I'm not there to like bother people. So I had no idea what was going on. And then Andy Man has a team and he comes every week, and I really appreciate their support. And he's like, that's a MAGA rally. And I laugh. Like it's not a MAGA rally. I'm like, they're all like, there's a lot of teenagers. He's like, I'm telling you. So I'm like, whatever. And we keep seeing, and then we see some people that are dressed nice walking in and out, and we're like, oh, okay, that's weird, whatever. So we do the trivia, and then And Ken turns to me, and Ken's like, there's this lunatic fringe Republican candidate, and I'd heard it. Because the guy Jolly that I hope wins, the former Republican that's been a Democrat for a long time, very anti-Trump. Like I've seen online him saying, "You Republican candidates, how do you not condemn what this man is saying?" And it's that guy. He's Jewish of birth, I guess, but like he's very anti-Israel, very anti-Netanyahu. And to me as a Jew, it leans very anti-Semitic, but I don't know if he said specifically anti-Semitic things, but he said things where the anti-Semites are very proud to follow him. So, and that's who his base is, literally like Nick Fuentes, like all the people that own the word you hate Ken bringing up on this show.
Yeah.
They own that they're that. They admit that they're that. They follow him. They want him to win Florida. So, Ken's like, if it was him, I'd go back there and yell at him. I'm like, you should. That guy's psychotic. So anyways, we do more trivia, and I go back, and Andy confirmed what I did not want to hear, and he does it by accident in the sense that he has no idea who the guy is. So he wouldn't be bringing this name up unless it was true. He's like, I think it's a Republican governor candidate. I'm like, oh, no.
Like, a rally outside your trivia competition.
Yes, having a rally outside.
Pizza parlor in Sunrise.
Yes. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, fish something? I'm like, no. I'm like, oh, no. And then I'm like, yeah.
You had the great debate. I mean, do you say anything, or do you, forsake the relatively
nothing
you were making for being there?
On the way home, I look on Twitter, and it said 2 hours ago, and it's been 2 hours since at this point, Broward County live. I'm like, uh-oh, was he really there? So Andy calls us after. He's like, 100%, it was Fishbeck, and they were 100% having a rally, and he was there. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Big good thing you didn't have to go outside and take a leak.
I don't. So I'm putting it out. I'm glad you're okay talking about it here, because we've worked with interesting sponsors that in some way I think we believed in some form. Like, yes. People love to throw the word chill around. I'm like, look, everyone we worked with, I know the Urinator is one we always make fun of, but like the Euro Club, whatever, but everything else, like Around the Clock, every sponsor we've ever dealt with, we've used personally. So I've never thought twice about dealing with anyone. I've never had questionable connections.
The Euro Club was done by a real guy. He believed in it.
Yeah.
The Euro Club, for the uninitiated, anybody that hasn't been with the program for a long period of time, I was endorsing a product. Talk about unscrupulous salespeople. And we have the lovely Beth Bernstein, just the opposite of that, tuned into the program today. We always love it when she's there on the comment line. And it makes you feel good to know that, like, hot women listen to the show, Lubie. Is that not a consideration of any announcer? You're thinking, wow, babes are listening to the show.
Sports show, yes. I never
watch it. Gentleman named Les Mayer, who was a nice enough guy. I mean, he was kind of fun to hang around with. But he brought me when I was doing 640, early stages of 640. So any sponsor was welcome, of course. And this was part of the Lappa Nation, Steve Lappa, the world's dumbest smart guy. May he rest in peace.
Yes.
But, he had some brilliant ideas. He was the pioneer of the live spot in South Florida radio. Did it a long time back when WNWS was in this little shack in South Miami and was a prominent AM station. Neil Rogers was doing nights there. I think Neil Rogers came on from like 10 to 2. Can you believe that? On WNWS.
Oh, that's crazy.
I did a couple of shows out of their studio way, I mean, this is way back in the day. And I couldn't believe that this was like it was kind of like QAM 560 when they had that place on Sheridan Street.
Yeah.
And you'd walk in there and go, same thing, like I said, with the Miami Dolphins when I first showed up at their practice facility at St. Thomas. You thought, there's no way a professional team works out here. You have to be kidding me. And you would think there was no way that professional radio was being conducted in these facilities. But, so Lappa had the whole thing going, and we were starving for cash. I mean, just hemorrhaging red ink with this radio station. Just started out a conversion of sports, probably had 2 listeners because they blew off the oldies format they had. So there was nobody sub 95 years old that was listening to this station before. And what's the toughest thing to do? Gurggles is aware of this. The toughest thing to do is change listener habits.
Yes, and get an audience on a station that no one listens to the station ever. They just don't listen to that station. They don't know the station exists.
Unfortunately, I've been in that circumstance several times.
Many times. We did it for 10 years.
Legendary career. There's Gurggles. We're going to bring him in here in a second. So anyway, what happened? You didn't go outside?
No. So Andy calls, and he's like, it was 100% Fishbeck. And I know because I got into it to his skinhead security guards who were tatted from head to toe. I'm like, oh no, really? He's like, yes. I'm like, I can't even lie to myself now. I'm like, so I don't even know what to do. Like the owner's a really nice guy and there's a really nice lady. Like there's no paraphernalia on the walls.
You have to draw a line and leave.
What does this say? Like,
money's involved.
I know establishments will have people do stuff. I mean, you tell me, like, to me, when an extremist hosts a rally somewhere, isn't the place aware? Like the place has to, like, right? Like,
I would have to think that they embrace that, or they would have kicked them out of the parking lot with pressure hoses or something. Gurgs, how are you, man? Do you still sell the Euro Club at the Pro Shop there at the
No, we do not. We put in some fine restrooms here for instead of that. But you know, I'm the guy that runs that place last night. You know, he's got to think one thing: their money is green too. So you know, I think he's thinking about business. Yeah, you know,
why not?
Debate. Yeah, exactly. Like I did not know.
Although I do remember. I do remember doing the trivia show in that old wooden shack that Kiss 99.9 had when Josh was our producer, and we had the girl that wore a white T-shirt with a stain, and we tried to get it off with magic rust stain remover. I remember that too.
Whatever happened to that product? I mean,
I don't know. It's probably around someplace. It's in the bowels of Hialeah. They got a warehouse there, and he's shipping it. I don't think he's shipping it to Cuba anymore, but he's probably using it stateside. But yeah,
my favorite still an endorsement was the Mr. Mosquito Mister. Was that the name of it? Mr. Mosquito Mister. It was a mist that supposedly Dan Marino was using to keep mosquitoes. He's out there in Weston where they're the size of clinchers. I mean, so it might have.
He had a habit of getting a sponsor and getting like $500 for the year. And he'd get all the money up front, and then he'd keep doing the commercial, and then no dough coming in.
The Mr. Mosquito Mister. I'm sure it was a fine product, but the way he made it sound, they may as well have been spraying napalm all around the backyard to get rid of bugs. It was great. Anyway, the Euro Club Les Mir product was a golf club that had a shaft that you could pull apart, and that way you could take a leak into the shaft of the club.
It was on Shark Tank, right?
Actually used the club. I believe it might have gone on Shark Tank.
Yeah, it was on Shark Tank, and somebody invested in it.
I think Mr. Wonderful, just as a joke, gave him like $50,000 for the thing. The guy that was sincere, who invented, he was a urologist, and he thought this was going to save lives. That's what he was all about, saving lives. So it still was going to look pretty funky when you attach this thing to your private parts there and take a leak in the middle of the fairway. I doubt they're using that at Augusta National. I don't know. I don't even think they would allow it on your course there.
Matter of fact, on 16 hole here, that's where Coach Shula used to live. And in my ranger duties, I travel around. I always say, hey, there's where Coach used to live. The other day, there's some hedges outside of his yard, and I seen a guy taking a leak at the hedges there. I said, Coach Shula used to live there. What are you, a Buffalo Bills fan? The guy just looked away.
He had a Patriots jersey on. All right, we're going to do the trivia challenge. We'll do that, and then we'll get into some sporting stuff. The NBA returns. Interesting game tonight. I was reading a little analysis on Knicks Pistons. Pistons had those suspensions from that fight that happened just before the All-Star game. So, because I was curious why the Pistons would be 4.5-point dogs. They've hammered the Knicks a couple of times this year, literally like 30-point differentials, I think. But they're going to be missing two big men. Duran and Isaiah Stewart. Isaiah Stewart was slapped with a 7-game suspension, so we'll see how that impacts the Eastern race, because who does the math when they decide when to have the All-Star game? Is that Adam Silver? Did he not go to any math classes? Shouldn't the All-Star game be somewhere approximately in the middle of the season? So in the NBA, they'll have their All-Star game with like 2 games left in a regular season. I'm trying to do the math on this. It seems to me like most teams have played about 55 games.
Yeah, so, they had, I think, around 28 left or something like that. So it's probably 2/3 of the season. I guess they want to do it right after the Super Bowl, which makes sense. All the hype before that is on the Super Bowl. Do it right after.
All right. Well, then they picked a good time because they're finally resuming here on this Thursday. Knicks Pistons plus 4.5. We'll get into that. College basketball last night, you had an upset with Creighton over UConn. And I love, there's nothing I love more than a Danny Hurley post-loss press conference. As you really see a seamy underside. I mean, when a guy's a little bit psychotic to begin with, even when he wins, it's especially entertaining when he loses. Did you catch any of that, Lubie?
Hurley's pressers last night after they got surprised, it's the best. It's like Bobby Knight 2.0. He like gets so pissed. It's like the 1980s all over again. It's
I'm
amazing.
surprised he just doesn't automatically have a chair up there that he can fling into the crowd. It would be great. And you've got the Winter Olympics ongoing with hockey. Is the hockey as the United States women have a chance to take the gold medal, heavily favored in their game today to win the gold. And they've been probably, I mean, is that as dominating a performance? They've given up one goal in like 5 or 6 games.
Wow. Yeah. I had a chance to watch the men's game yesterday in its entirety, which was really
Oh,
exciting.
yeah. No, it was good. What do you think of that, Gurgs? You said it was exciting, but
it was. I mean, we had a 1-0 lead the whole time, and they pulled the goalie and scored with a little over a minute left. And then I didn't know the way the Olympics worked. They went 3-on-3, which was really something. And this kid Hughes just carried the puck around, took a shot, bingo, it was over. It really was exciting as far as that goes. And you talk about Creighton beating UConn. You know who was one of Creighton's most famous basketball alumni?
Neil Johnson from the New York Knicks. That's the only guy I remember.
But another guy that's a Hall of Famer. It's a Hall of Famer in another sport.
Creighton alumni. No, I'm blanking.
Bob Gibson.
Bob Gibson. Wow.
Yeah, he played 1 year at Creighton, and the Cardinals signed him. Yep. And then he played a year with the Globetrotters, too.
I should have known that. I knew about the Globetrotter thing, although I would have forgotten that also at 74. But, yeah, Bob Gibson, one of my all-time favorites. I was briefly a Cardinal fan because my father was from Missouri, and I got to go to a Cardinal game, so I loved him. And I was a huge Lou Brock fan back in the day.
Yeah.
Kurt Flood, Lou Brock, two of my favorite players all time. Ken Boyer, underrated, never gets mentioned as one of the great third basemen. Great hitter also. Led the league in average at least once. And I don't know. He wasn't. He hit more home runs than Cleat, who might have been a better fielder, his brother with the Yankees. But
Cleat had a good glove, yep.
Oh,
and the other one, remember their other brother? Cloyd, who's a pitcher.
Yeah, he was of far less distinction, though, than either of the two, as far as I know. All right, that's a good intro, a good transition into the trivia. So, down the topic we're going to play.
Let's get rolling.
954-407-1170, right? Is that right?
417
on
the Chiron right below.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you can see the numbers.
954-417-0060.
There you go.
There you go.
I almost gave out my own cell phone number there.
Yes, you've done that many a time before.
Call 288. What was that? What was the old thing? Murray Hill 88888. If you want to buy 6 plots of land in a swamp in New Jersey. All right, we're ready to go here with Dave Gurggles Gergely. We're going to pay homage to the Polyman as always. The Polyman, a brilliant performer on this program. I've been getting many comments again. I would say 4 or 5 people came up to me during the course of the last week since you were last on and suggested that this was the greatest show. The Trivia Challenge was the greatest show ever on South Florida radio. Not one to necessarily blow my own horn. You guys did most of the legwork on that, but I don't know that I wouldn't agree with a lot of these people. We had a lot of fun on that thing. So here we go with the new version of the program. Dave Gurggles Gergely, in honor of the Polyman. And our first set of questions started out what? With some
easy baseball. This manager in 1962, when asked about his team, described it as follows. You know, the only thing worse than a Mets game is a Mets doubleheader. How's that? Casey Stengel, Casey Kasem, Casey and his Sunshine Band, or Ben Casey?
All right, well, here's our undercover man on the scene yesterday with Lubie taking money from like Greg Norman. He got a check from Greg Norman.
The Saudis.
Out back in the Saudis. The random phone scrambler lands on Andy. Andy, you're on the Trivia Challenge. Good morning, my friend.
Morning. I'll go with A, David Duke.
Just ignore the cone-shaped sheet on my head.
Exactly.
And listen to what I have to say.
Oh, no.
As opposed to Wally Duke that played in the Eastern Basketball League. All right, Andy.
Was there a burning cross outside, though, Lubie?
There's no paraphernalia of any kind, I promise.
You know, the crazy thing is that, I got to say, you know, they're really anti-MAGA because they're the other more extreme faction. But all these MAGA and Republicans, there's always hot girls. There's always hot girls.
That's the amazing thing. It really is. Some of the, and not unintelligent. That's the other part. I mean, I was surprised, especially when this stuff was even more heavily. I don't know. It seems like some of this conversation hasn't necessarily faded, but it's not quite as intense. And I was always amazed at the number of really attractive women that I had great respect for that were full blown Trump supporters. It was unbelievable. All right, not that we would be suggesting that you have any. Why would you want to have an opinion on what's running your life? Right, Louis? I mean, so while we feel we're on the right side of that, a lot of people would think that we're not.
Each their own. I had nothing to do with whatever's going on back there. I'm just
Hard
trying
to look at it on the surface and not have some reaction. Let's put it that way. All right, true false question for Andy. You have 1 point.
Yes, and he's trying to get the Palm Beach airport named after him, and we opted to do the Yeehaw Junction urinal, but I don't think we'll see what happens. All right, Olympics, Andy, true or false? Believe it or not, the 1984 Olympics in L.A., the Summer Olympics, featured an event called solo synchronized swimming, which was just one person swimming to the music. True or false?
I got to go with false on that one.
That had to be false. No,
No, that's true.
how is that possible?
And you have
Solo
solo
synchronized
You
swimming.
synchronize
What are you
swim when
synchronizing
you're
with?
in the pool by yourself. Hey, you with the sneakers out of the pool. What is that? I mean, I don't think you could have
That's
even made
amazing.
that up. Yeah, that's
No, yep.
it's incredible. All right, you
All right,
have
Andy.
one going for 4.
Three-pointer coming up. Sticking with the Olympics. 1928, on this day in sports in the Olympics, in the 5-man bobsled, believe it or not, the USA won gold and silver. What team took the bronze?
All right.
Was it Italy, Norway, Austria, or Germany?
What year is that? 1928?
1928. Yep.
Steve, did you announce the Olympics then yet?
He was doing color.
He was doing the color on the curling.
I'll go with Canada.
Okay. They were not part of that answer, but that's all right. It was Germany, believe it or not, took the bronze.
Oh, he made up a choice. That's a new
Yeah,
one.
he did, which is right.
Nice.
That's,
He's
I like
like,
that.
This is wrong. I know Kurtz is wrong. I'm giving the right answer.
All
This
right.
game is already going to be under protest. Like I can see it.
NBA, Andy. Nate Thurman was the first NBA player to record a quadruple double. Which NBA player was the second to accomplish this?
Yeah, that's a good one, Gurggles.
Will Chamberlain, Walt Frazier, Wes Unseld, or Alvin Robertson?
A quadruple double.
I think it was Alvin Robertson.
That's
It
what I'm
was.
saying. Yeah.
For the San Antonio Spurs. 20
Nice.
points, 11 rebounds, 10 assists, and 10 steals.
You
Steals.
storm ahead, Andy, man.
Very good. Andy throws right up there, a big number, 6 on the board for Andy, setting the pace here, trivia challenge. You can dial us up. Let me see if I can get this right. 954-417-0070. Wonder how many phone numbers I've barked out lifetime.
Wow.
And then if you include the multiplications of just whatever the station number was, because I used to use it as if it was punctuation, like a comma or a period. I would be in the middle of a sentence, throw out the number like 10 times, and there was always that desperate feeling, on occasion where you would go, is there anybody out there? Is this on? We have no
Yes.
calls on the board, but we're rolling with people here because, as I said, they've become accustomed to this new format. 954-417-0070 if you'd like to join us here on the phone lines. Ready to roll with Dave Gurggles Gergely and our next set of questions.
All right, NASCAR. This driver explained why he no longer drove with his iPod on, said, it didn't work out. I found it hard to concentrate with Led Zeppelin on. What's that? Tony Stewart, Dick Stewart, Martha Stewart, or Stuart Margolin? You know who that is?
Stuart Margolin, I do, but I'm
Angel on the Rockford Files.
Oh, very nice, man. I wouldn't have guessed that. I was way off. Ron is up next on the Trivia Challenge. Hello, Ron.
Good morning, fellas. Let's go with A.
A is correct. You have 1 point.
All right, Ron, let's go back to the Olympics for you. Believe it or not, a demonstration event in 1928 featured an event called ski joring. It was an event that involved athletes being towed on skis behind riderless horses. True or false?
What the hell?
Let's go true.
True.
True. Yep.
How do you practice that? How do you practice that?
Exactly. How do you practice
know.
each of 5?
We've had plenty of riderless horses at the track. I know that.
All right, Lou, it's all on you. Yeah, right? I mean, then the horse takes off with
Who
nobody.
wins? The ones that lives? Like, how
How
does
long
that,
did that last, Gurggles?
how does that work?
2 for 2.
All right.
Huh?
3-point question. Ron, let's give you ABA. A passing of another ABA great. We lost Doug Moe. He passed away at age 87.
One of your favorites.
Yeah, he was. He won an NBA championship as a player with what team?
Good question.
Was it the Oakland Oaks, the Indiana Pacers, the Virginia Squires, or the Kentucky Colonels?
No choice of the Denver Nuggets, huh?
No.
Oh, boy. Let's go Kentucky Colonel.
Oh, logical guess. Believe it or not, I think he was a teammate of Rick Barry in '69 when the Oakland Oaks won it.
Barry would be able to tell you, that's for sure, because he remembers every shot that he ever took, going all the way back to his ABA days and maybe before that. All right, going for 7 points in the lead, Ron.
All right, let's take you back to, I think it's 2007. Anyway, it was the Daytona 500 that Dale Earnhardt tragically was killed in. Who won that one when Earnhardt had that accident and passed away? Was it Michael Andretti, Dale Jarrett, Michael Waltrip, or Alan Young?
I don't know. Alan Young.
No, Alan Young was the owner of Wilbur on the Red. It
Michael
was
Waltrip.
Michael Waltrip.
Waltrip. Yeah, Waltrip.
Michael Waltrip. Tough one, Ron.
All right, Ron bombs out there. Does end up with 2 points. Could still be eligible for the finals. As we'll play one more before we get to the championship round. Gurggles, I would imagine there's hot demand out there on the golf course today to get on tee off. Are they already out there?
Well, we've got today, Jeff, I've already been around to all the par threes, make sure there's sand in the buckets, everything's ready to go. And we've got today 219 golfers scheduled.
What's the normal number?
Well, the number, I think a lot of golf courses average maybe 100, 120 a day.
Wow.
We've been between 180 and 230 every day. And yesterday, as a matter of fact, I stopped by our favorite place, Perdomo Cigars, to pick up two boxes of Robustos and a box of Churchills for the golf course. So come on out and play golf here. You can buy a Perdomo cigar at a pro shop. Or if you need to go to Perdomo itself, 5150 Northwest 167th Street on the Palmetto on the south side, a little bit east of Home Depot, 305-627-6700, the number to call. www.perdomocigars.com if you're going to go Saturday or Sunday, because they're open Monday through Friday. Go see Nick Jr., well, actually Nick the Third. Now there's a Nick the Fourth. But Perdomo Cigars, they make them perfect one at a time. Get them here at the golf course or at Perdomo in person.
Do you just, as the ambassador of love out there, pass out a few of these every now and then, Gurg?
I don't pass them out. Now, I will next Friday. I'm going to be at Key Biscayne doing a Beat the Broadcaster for one of the Matter Academies, and I'll have a Perdomo cigar with me there. I always have one, and I always bring one extra one in case some guy asks for one. But other than that, let them buy them.
Good idea, yeah. I mean, you should always have a box for sale. That's a standard practice and procedure. All right, we're ready for our next set of questions, our final set of questions during regulation time. Then we'll go to the finals and the postseason. So here's Dave one more time.
Tennis. This comic actor watching the grunting Monica Seles play tennis quipped, Monica Seles, wow, I'd hate to be next door to her on her wedding night. Was it Peter Ustinov, Peter Falk, Peter Leonard, or Lee Leonard?
Could have been Peter Leonard. Here's a scrambler. Bud Collins might have come up with something like that. Mike, you're on the trivia challenge. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, A.
Right, once again. Very nice, my friend.
All right, Mike, with the popularity of curling, believe it or not, in Hollywood, California, there is an actual curling place right above the Whiskey A Go-Go. True or false?
I'll say true.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true?
Yep. And I was in the Whiskey A Go-Go in 73. Little Stevie Wonder was performing. Evel Knievel and Jim Brown were in the audience. Wow, what a day.
Did you hit on the girl in the white boots?
I did not. Okay.
All right. Very good. I would have never gotten that. I thought that was total BS. So, I mean, it was so far-fetched. It seemed unbelievable. 2 for 2 going for 5.
All right. let's do another Olympic question. Mike, which of the following was
Not.
not an Olympic sport? Tug of war, polo, live pigeon shooting, or arm wrestling?
What the hell?
Arm wrestling.
That's right.
That's
Live
correct.
pigeon shooting was an event.
Live pigeon shooting.
Live
The Olympics
pigeon
always
shooting,
had crazy
1900. Yep, that was one of
Is
the
that
events.
combined with cross-country skiing and the ski jump?
No.
Up and shoot a few birds, and then you just jump off a cliff. Unbelievable. All right. He's alive for the sweep here, Dave.
All right, here we go. 5-point question. This date in 1984, the Indiana Pacers lost 121-94 to begin a 28 NBA game losing streak on the road. Who beat them that day? Was it the Detroit Pistons, the Chicago Bulls, the Philadelphia 76ers, or the Milwaukee Bucks?
Chicago.
Is wrong.
Oh, wow.
It was the Milwaukee Bucks beat them.
Well, stay right there, Mike. You're going to be in the finals here. Square off against our good
Finals
friend Andy.
versus-
So a very strong field for the championship round. And Gurggles has mentioned Perdomo Cigars. Nick Perdomo
Yeah.
is just a great guy. Now, what's Nick Perdomo doing now? Do you have
Well,
any
Nick
contact with him?
Perdomo,
Don't tell me he checked out, because I'll be very
no, geez, Nick looks great. I was there yesterday. He looks terrific. Nick's
Oh, good.
probably mid-50s. His son is probably
That's
30.
all. Nick,
Yeah, right around that. Yep. His son is in there as Nicholas III. They had a baby boy, Nicholas IV. His daughter's got 2 grandchildren running around. It's a great family business. They're all there. I dropped by. I said yesterday to pick them up. It's a big hangout for our police officers when they take a break. Sometimes I'll see the motorcycle cops in there smoking a cigar and enjoying themselves. And they make them perfect. One at a time, you can go there. 305-627-6700. You want to call or visit them in person, 5150 Northwest 167th Street. They'll be opening at 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. today and tomorrow as well, Monday through Friday. And then Saturday, Sunday, just go online, www.perdomocigars.com, to find a retailer that sells these great cigars. So when U.S. beats, what do they got, Slovakia?
Yes.
On Friday,
yeah.
when they beat them 3-1, put something great in your mouth with a cigar from Perdomo Cigars.
8-1 favorites. You have to lay 800 to win 100 on the U.S. and
Wow.
6-1 favorites, Canada, in their game against Finland.
Although the bet I'm thinking about making, did I hear this right? The Dolphins over is 4.5 games.
Could it be that low?
Yes, I thought I heard that on the overnight someplace.
So which way would you go?
Yeah, I'd go over. Yeah,
You go
with the new
over
regime.
4.5.
With the new regime, I'd go over.
New regimes can lead to a lot of different things, but
They can.
New regime with no players. If they're not going to play Tua, and they don't have Tyreek Hill now, obviously gone. Chubb wasn't doing much, so I don't know if that's any great loss. 4.5. They are 30-1 to win the division.
Well, I would lay that
10 points higher. 10 points higher than the Jets are.
Wow.
So they're giving the Dolphins a 33% less chance of winning the division than the New York Jets, who suck.
Wow. I think they're both 4.5 for their totals too.
4.5. All right. It's hard to imagine a Dolphin team not winning 5
You're
games.
right.
I mean, they won 5 games with Brian Flores when he was instructed specifically to lose.
I remember when they won the one game when the Mad Dog called the wrong Camarillo on the touchdown.
That was one of the most boring games. I was at that game when the Ravens
Yep.
came to town, and who was it? Greg Camarillo? What was the?
Yes. Instead of he called Rick Camarillo, I think.
I think he was backup guitarist with the band. No. All right, ready for the finals here. Here's the way it works. Dave's going to fire off a question. Call out your name if you'd like to answer right away. If nobody does that, we'll offer multiple choice. First person to call out his name gets first chance, and we go back and forth till we have a winner. So for the championship, this week's edition of the Trivia Challenge, people are trying to extract from Lubie a Texas Roadhouse gift certificate, but most of those, I would imagine, have been redeemed by the Lubitz family at this point. Which is, no. I mean, Lubie's very much legit on this. If he had the prize to give away, he would, but the distinction of being a champion, I think, is more than enough. Really, the prize vanishes after a while. It's kind of like those World Series tickets that I didn't scalp when I went to the 97 Game 7 with my son. what would we have done? The 1,500 we would have gotten for the tickets would have been long gone.
Would have been gone anyway, right?
Never
Right.
forget. You know.
Although
So
I
here
did
we
hear
go.
from one of the managers at the Roadhouse Grill complaining that the Rabbi Larry Fine keeps coming in.
Whatever happened to him, man?
I don't know. I
I
don't
remember
know.
when he was being extradited around the country after that trip to the Bahamas, where the Polyman and his group didn't get back till the next day because they shut down the plane to arrest the former Rabbi Larry Fine, for having a marker out at some Vegas casino.
Unbelievable.
And you're asking yourself, well, where does that fit in the demographics of our audience? Criminal activity of a degenerate variety. All right, here we go. Dave's got
All
the
right,
question. Call out your name if you want to answer. And
Good luck, guys. Interesting enough, this is Black History Month. I watched something yesterday on the television about great black athletes and entertainers, and they featured Curt Flood. Curt
Very
Flood,
nice.
you may remember, challenged the reserve clause when the Cardinals tried to send him to the Philadelphia Phillies. He did never report to the Phillies, but he did play a year with what team?
Or with whom?
Whom?
Anybody?
Was it
Multiple
the
choice.
Reds, the Pirates, the Senators, or the Braves?
Mike, who was it?
Braves.
He says Braves. I say no. Okay.
Was it the Reds, the Pirates, or the Senators?
I'd say the Senators.
Senators.
Yes.
That's
And
what I
I'll
guess,
give
yeah.
you another half point if you can tell me who their manager was.
Washington Senators.
Williams.
Ted Williams.
Ted
Ted
Williams was a
Williams.
manager then?
Oh,
Yeah.
Ted, you got it right. Good job.
Wow.
man.
Hey,
10 and a half. Good
I'd
job.
like,
Oh,
to
you-
donate, I'd like to donate my prize to the campaign for Charlie Crist for governor.
Yeah, yeah. Louie's going to leave some flowers on Charlie Kirk's grave for you. So, in honor of last night's activities. Excellent. Andy Man wins.
Way to go, Andy.
It's irrepressible. Just continues to hammer away here, no matter what circumstances he's facing on the medical front, which he has called in from ICU in the past. That's it? You just dumped Gurggles?
Called in pre-surgery. I know he has to go. He's called in pre-surgery. Literally pre-surgery.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he was being wheeled in. He's already got the ether taking effect.
Yes, he was on the gurney and they played true.
My God.
He's
All
dedicated.
right, we're going to come back. We have some sporting items to discuss here on the program, as is the nature of the show. Mike Lubie Lubitz, Jeff DeForest. I thank Dave Gurggles Gergely for joining us. Thanks for playing, everybody. And we'll come back and be with you for another 10 minutes or so in a moment. Now that.
The time.
Not that I'm counting the time till the show ends. 8:48.
Joe Bees. The bees collect the pollen, bring it to Joe, he packages it, and he gets it to you. It's simple, 100% natural, and it's good for you.
There's only one place to get Joe Bees, and that's from me. Joe B.
If you want to look and feel good, call 877-300-5632.
Hey folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs, unmatched. Steaks, hand cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat today?
I have sinned against you, my Lord.
The only way to get your morning started is with Defo, joined by Lubie, right here on the Defo Show.
There's a certain telepathic nature that emerges after a while when you're working with a guy on a show like this. And did that mic go funky again, Lubie?
Oh, you're good. It's been
Okay.
good. I don't know
Good.
what magic you did, but the last 2 days it's worked really well.
All right, good, because we want to come across as professionally
You
as we
sound good.
possibly can instead of going, hey, what's up with this effing equipment?
You sound good.
All right, and you played that Swagger cut, which of course was all about infidelity. He was having what was it wasn't Goldie Hawn, it was something, a redheaded chick. She was fairly hot.
Okay.
That, he was banging and got caught, red-handed. Not that we didn't have suspicions about the integrity of Jimmy Swagger to begin with, because anybody that's that righteous, Lubie, do you not sense that there has to be some
Oh, yeah.
hidden complication with their integrity? And I was just about to Well, a couple of things come to mind, and and that is the whole idea of this infidelity.
Okay.
Is kind of crazy because Todd Golden, the Gators have an amazing ability, much like certain administrations, of just making something disappear. Right? That whole business with Urban Meyer.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I don't know what other scandals there've been. There've been some. I mean, the Charlie Pell Grant thing, which were absolutely named. The Golden thing, though, wasn't he? He was accused of some kind of there
Yes.
were insinuations he was involved in some kind of
Harassment
relationship.
of some kind. Yes.
Those Hawks are gone. I mean, he wins the national championship. And now they may have been unjustifiable to begin with, but it is amazing. Just nothing
Yes.
mentioned. I mean, it's kind of like Robert Kraft and the Asian Spa. We don't know.
Yes.
I don't even know what the resolution was, but them Gators, man, they know how to take care of a problem and just
Yes. Yes.
wipe it away.
They're very good at
That
that.
being said, this guy has to be a hell of a coach, right? Wins a national championship last year, and this year they started out, I believe, a little bit slowly,
Yes.
and have since. And the professor mentioned this on the show last week. Do not lose the idea that they have a chance to make. I don't even like the reference to make a deep run in the NCAA tournament. What does that constitute? Getting to the grade eight, Elite Eight? What's a deep run, in your opinion, Lubie?
Eights.
Eights?
Fours. Yeah.
I would say Final Four is a deep run. 8?
Yes. Well, it depends on like
I mean, you win one game and you're in the round of 32. You win two games, you're in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, Sweet 16 isn't deep. I mean, if you get winning 3 games in that tournament's not easy. So
yeah,
I can see 8. Again, as an FSU fan, we've been to we've been to 2 8s and no Final Fours in my entire lifespan. So I look at it differently.
Who was it? It was Dana Jacobson, I believe, was interviewing Leonard Hamilton after that absolute abortion of a time management, clock management episode and late game strategy.
Yes.
Who did they lose to in that game, Lubie? They really snatched defeat from the jaws of victory.
I mean, they didn't have a good chance to win, but they were down 4 with like 20 seconds or something. So mathematically, they weren't out of it. And if they had used a timeout, they could have preserved the game a little bit. It wasn't exactly over. It's college. Kids miss there's 1-and-1s. Kids miss free throws, and he didn't even try to use a timeout. I don't remember. I think it might have been Xavier. It was either Xavier or Gonzaga, one of them. And he didn't give them a chance. He just didn't call a timeout, and the clock just ran out, and that was the game. And she asked him a question, and he was lost. It was totally.
She pressed him on it. I mean, to her credit, because usually they just a lot of people would just let the guy off the hook. Well, that was a tough break there, Coach.
Yes, 100%.
She came right out and said, "What kind of bozo move was that?" Women reporters on the sideline. I don't know. A lot of people literally would have just done a little cream puff job there. Well, tough loss there. What do you take away from this? What is this? What is the lesson to your kids? The lesson is if they had any kind of a coach in terms of game day strategy, they might have won the game. Anyway, watch out for them. Our man Chip Namias is all over this. Of course, he's very biased. He's a diehard Gator basketball fan and says, in spite of the fact that he's worked with 3 professional NFL teams and been involved in sports, what was the PR guy? When I came to town, he was a PR guy for the Fort Lauderdale Strikers, but a Gator alum and uses the wealth that he has accumulated during his various jobs. I was thinking, no marriages, no kids, Lubie. Does that give you a big edge financially in life?
Oh, Jesus. Yes.
They teach that in home economics.
It helps a great deal. Yes. I can't imagine.
But he's saying the same thing. And you would have to say, in spite of insinuations that what would reflect negatively on Todd Golden's character, which were never validated, were they? I mean,
no, they threw it out.
Were they explored to any
into it, and then they found no impropriety. It
was very, nothing here.
He coached the entire time that they would looked into it. That was the fun part. Yes.
All right. Well, that seems to have gone away completely. And what hasn't gone away though is the Gator basketball team, because apparently they're definitely a force to be reckoned with. And it wouldn't surprise me if imagine this they come back and knock on the door again. That'd be a hell of a job by this guy.
Yes, they lost a lot for Blaster's team. I mean, their best player Slayton went to the pros. So yes, that would be again. And he recruits okay, but he doesn't recruit like Duke or UConn, where they got like 3 5-stars, where you are expected to be there every year just because of how the talent accumulation. Like, he's done a really good job with the portal. Like, he's big on the portal, that guy.
We've mentioned this before, and we're not inclined to knock other people's work because we're in the same business, and anybody could take a look at a lot of the stuff we do and be hypercritical and say, and you know what? You probably wouldn't even be able to argue with them, right, Louis? If they said, well, you don't do this and you don't stick to one thing, and it's like, okay, we missed some stuff. Look, I mean, you can't cover everything in an hour, but I've often referenced that I thought Doug Gottlieb, who became a basketball coach and finally just this year, like recently, gave up his radio show that he was doing as he was doing his national radio show. And I didn't realize this. He was on Fox Sports. And I didn't realize that he had the longest running network afternoon drive radio show of anybody ever. And I was thinking, how is that possible? Because nobody knew he was on. I mean, this was like the worst show I ever listened to. I won't say that, but of a network variety.
It wasn't great. Never been a big Doug Gottlieb fan.
It just was boring. I mean, from the minute he opened up a microphone, you were thinking, why is this guy? He sounds like he's ready to have his head hit the table.
His opinions are weird. I've gotten into it a bunch of times on Twitter with him. His opinions are not great.
He finally became interesting.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
He was suspended for a post-game rant. No, he was ridiculed for his 4-28 first season with Wisconsin Green Bay. Yep. You had this radio host becomes a basketball coach with no prior experience. I don't even know if he coached like his son's
high school. He played a long time. Oklahoma. He's like an Oklahoma State great, and he
was a good player.
College basketball, I think. Yeah, I think he was solid. It's before my time, but people talk about him like he was solid at least.
All right.
And I think he coached high school or something.
Oh, he did. Okay. All right. Whatever. It was somewhat of a surprise when he got even the Wisconsin Green Bay job, and he opens up with a 4-28. So his lifetime record is likely to be sub 500 for a considerable period of time. And you would have to question whether he was even going to come back for his second year, because I don't know what level of impact or influence the Wisconsin Green Bay alumni have. Who went to Wisconsin Green Bay? Fuzzy Thurston? I don't know.
No idea.
You ever meet anybody that said, yeah, I went to Wisconsin Green Bay? Never.
No.
Now, they have made a little bit of a blip of a positive reputation through basketball, but certainly much of that was dissipated in the first year of Doug Gottlieb's coaching reign there as they go 4-28. Almost impossible, right? But this year they're playing well. They I believe, are above 500, 3 games above 500. I think it's the Horizon Conference they're in.
Oh, wow. They're actually good. I thought it was a total disaster. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and he felt he got screwed in their last game. They lose by 3 points. So the most interesting thing he's ever done, he went on a vile rant about the officiating in the game, and now he's making headlines for being suspended for a game.
Yeah.
His post-game assertions that the officials were perhaps the illegitimate sons of 2 cousins that were hillbillies. And that was it. And I'll say this. I've had occasion to be in a car, and of course, we knew Stu Gatz from his days here, and started 790. But just to further validate my opinion about Doug Gottlieb, and I mean, Stu Gatz is almost like a bright light compared to what this guy was doing on the air.
Really?
Yeah, I have to say, I mean, it's a vast improvement. And I don't know if that's a tribute to Stu Gatz having polished up his radio act over the years from the time that he was working in various enterprises with Dan Levitard, or if Gottlieb was just so utterly lame that
he didn't do anything. Yeah, he didn't say anything. There was not much coming from him. I don't know what to do. You can have your opinion as to Gatz, but Gottlieb, I mean, he didn't say anything. There was nothing there.
If you didn't know the guy, you would tune in, and if you said, "Hey, I was listening to Doug Gottlieb," I was creature of habit, like we were talking about, listener habits, hardest thing to change. You hate a guy on the air, you think he's got the worst show ever, but you keep listening because you don't want to punch the button.
The channel, yeah, you're just used to listening to that channel.
Yeah.
A lot of guys do that. Guys will just leave 560, 790, 940 just on all day.
Yeah.
Whatever's on is what you listen to.
Screaming at the radio, "You guys suck!" But they still
the channel, yeah.
Still tuned in. We appreciate it when people would call in and say you suck, because it meant that
you're listening.
Somebody was breathing that was out there in the listening audience. All right, Lubie, what are you going to do with this Knicks Pistons game tonight? You're going to take the 4 on a hook with the Pistons missing their 2 big men inside, Stewart and Durant, not playing. The Knicks, they did do a number on Jalen Brunson, though. J.B. Bickerstaff, is this Junior? Bickerstaff Jr.? The coach of the Pistons doesn't get a lot of credit for what he's done this year in the last couple of years. I don't know that anybody thought. Did people think he was a lousy coach? Was he with the Wizards before?
Oh, definitely. He did the Cavs. He took the Cavs to a great record, and the Cavs got rid of him.
They got rid of him, yeah.
And then Atkinson took the Cavs to like a better record, so it was like, oh, maybe it was worth it. And then he made the Pistons relevant, so it was like, oh, maybe it wasn't worth it because he's doing the same thing with the Pistons. And then in year 2 with the Pistons, he now has him as a 1 seed. They haven't been that since the early 2000s.
Atkinson, highly regarded, though. He was well respected when he was with the Nets, and then he went to Golden State as an assistant, and he was highly coveted for a lot of head coaching jobs. I don't know that you can knock the Cavaliers for making that move, but this Bickerstaff, I mean, he's distinguished himself very well. So he decides that he's going to shut down Jalen Brunson, and he sicks this guy, Osar Thompson, who wasn't he one of like 2 twin brothers that went?
Thompson's ridiculous. His brother's the one, Amen, is the one that I think has a little bit higher ceiling, but both Thompson twins are ridiculous defenders and learning to play much better offense. Yeah, Thompson's legit. The Pistons, when Osar is not as gifted offensively as his brother at Houston, but he's a talent. Like the kid's, especially defensively, he's like locked down.
Lockdown Jalen Brunson to the tune of, while he was on him, I believe Brunson managed to make a couple of shots, but he went 4 for 20 in the game with this Bickerstaff devised defense. 0 for 8 from 3-point range, Jalen Brunson, who would be a distant, but still, if you said, hey, could this guy be the MVP? It's not as far-fetched as you would probably think it was, Lubie, because of your hatred of the Knicks and Brunson in general. What did you have against Brunson? Chucker? What do you think?
No, well, he flops a lot. Like I think he's like the new version of Harden, where I think he's a good player, but I think a lot of what he gets is nonsense calls because he's little, and that actually boosts his stats in a way that, because you'll see games where they officiate him fairly, and those are usually the games he scores like 15. Like the games where he scores like 30 something, usually he goes to the line a lot of times. And most of the time he's going to the line, there's no contact at all. Like he's the guy, he's like the perfect modern day player and he gets credit for where he's learned the system and he veteran savvy. No, just don't call a foul. Like the guy fell. There's no one even around him. Like that's my problem with Brunson. He's a small dude who's made it. So good for him. Also, he does nothing else. He's not a good passer. He's not a good rebounder, and he's a horrendous defender. So and that's why I think that the Knicks ceiling is a hard and fast ceiling because he's their number one. He's not number one. Like, again, that's the problem with Luka is Luka's your number one. You could probably get to a finals. It's going to be hard to win. Like, your number one has to be able to do a lot of different things. Like, and he does not. Brunson is very much a scorer, shooter, and he does okay assist-wise because the ball's in his hands at all times. So those guys at least can find their way to 6-7 assists, but he's a horrendous defender. Like, they hunt him. Like, in the playoffs versus the Pistons, the young Pistons, they take him out. They do the thing where they sub him out, your best offensive player, because they don't want him out there on defense because teams literally hunt him, the Tyler Hero treatment. So that's my problem with Brunson. I think he's a good player. I think it's impressive what he's done to make himself a legit like top 15, 20 player in the league. I just don't think he's a real number one on a championship contender. And I think that's what the Knicks are. The Knicks will win a lot of regular season games and they'll lose every year in the first or second round of the playoffs because, again, a Cade Cunningham is a legit number one. Like, and the Celtics have a legit number one in Tatum, and the Cavs have a legit number one in Mitchell. Like, all these teams the Pacers, who beat them, upended them surprisingly, have a legit number one in Tyrese Halliburton, where even when he doesn't play well, he's a good defender, he's a really good rebounder, and a really good assist guy. So even if he can't score, that's the problem with Brunson. If Brunson gives you 16, he's useless out. He does nothing else well. So, like, he's just out there wasting time. Like, that's my problem with Brunson. I mean,
he surprises me. Some of the shots that he makes. Now,
he's a talent. He's a really good player, but I don't think they're ever going to. I don't know if they're making.
I might tend to agree with you that he's not good enough to put him over the top. So go ahead and bet every dime you have on the Knicks.
The problem without Duren has become a huge part of their defense. Like, they are very defense first.
Stewart was tough too.
Stewart too. Those are the two. He's like the power forward, right? Those are their two big.
He's the crazy guy that punches everybody out. Yeah,
and they play very physical. So to not have your bigs back there, that's tough. And the Knicks are also physical. The Knicks are really good at getting to the basket. I know they shoot a lot of threes, but they also get to the basket. So that's tough. Like, without Duren, they count on him a lot. And
are you taking the 4.5 or leaning?
Knicks? Yeah, I would lean Knicks
Knicks. Okay. The line opened up 2.5, went to 4.5 right away. It's held there. A couple of other games of interest there. Rockets, Hornets. LaMelo Ball was just in a car crash. Apparently he's okay. It's like whacked in an intersection. I don't know. It didn't really attribute anybody with being at fault there. Celtics, Warriors. Celtics debating what to do if Tatum comes back right now. Nuggets, Clippers. The Clippers don't have James Harden, and so Kawhi Leonard has been lighting it up. And man, did he look razor sharp in that one All-Star game session? That was a performance worthy of tuning in and of itself, Lubie. Whatever you think of Kawhi Leonard as a pro, I mean, the guy is a dogged, determined player. In spite of this Fugazi deal that he had going with Steve Ballmer, to be respected. And when he's on, I know he's often injured and load management and all of this stuff, but I mean, who gets on hotter streaks than Kawhi Leonard? He's been amazing. So we'll see. We'll see what happens as the NBA returns tonight. Looks like I didn't see anything outstanding. Maybe I'm missing something on the college basketball slate. And of course, you got the women's hockey game. I think it's underway. Is that like a 1:00 Eastern start? The women who dominated Canada earlier, figuring if they don't win the gold, is that a bigger upset than this Ilya Malinin falling all over the ice there in the gold medal round? When I mean, all he had to do, he literally just had to stay on his feet, I think, and he would have won the thing. All right, we're going to get out of here. Thanks so much. We'll do it again tomorrow. We'll have the professor, a little big board, and I can't believe another week is flying by like this. So for Mike Lubie Lubitz, I'm Jeff DeForest. We'll see you next time as we leave you now that.
The time.
And thanks to Dave and our trivia players. It is 9:07.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to